Good afternoon, Nigerians. So welcome to the number one business program on radio, Business Radio on Star FM 101.5. Today we're parading a top-flight, top-notch business executive in the corporate world. Of course, our major strength is building manpower in the Nigerian financial space. Today we're speaking with a certified performance technologist from the International Society for Performance Improvement, USA. It's my pleasure to welcome the Managing Director, CEO of Financial Institution Training Center, FITC, here in Lagos, Dr. Lucy Newman, CPT. Thank you very much, madam, for joining us on the program this afternoon. Okay, straight, let's go to the business. What are the significant contributory roles that FITC has played in the Nigerian financial system, especially banking, in the last 3 years and closing on 2017?
Good afternoon, Mr. Benjamin and our listeners. It's a pleasure to be on this program today, and thank you for the invitation. For us as FITC, our initial mandate is Nigeria, but we found out that because Nigerian banks are increasingly entering other jurisdictions, and as our members, our responsibility is to help them effectively compete in their markets. And we have seen increasingly that we're getting patronage from West African sub-region and also within the East African bloc. Be that as it may, in the past 3 years, you remember when TSA was introduced, FITC was able to give advisory to the banks in terms of what the implication of compliance with TSA is and what are the likely trends that they will see in their own operation. Also, when the competency management framework was introduced to the system, FITC offered advisory to the members and also played part in explaining to the regulator the challenges of the implementation of that. In terms of our publications, we also have the trend in fraud and forgeries. FITC has been collecting data on fraud and forgeries for about 20 years now, and we decided to publish the trend and forgeries report for the 15-year period 2001 to 2016 to show areas of vulnerability in the system and then advise policies. We have also had a publication on credit management practice of banks, and there is also suggestions that is in collaboration with the NDIC and suggestions on improvement of practices, structures, and policies. So in terms of our publications are to help the system see tomorrow, see what the practices have been and what the weaknesses of such has led to. We've also had collaborations. Our collaborations has helped the system majorly on enhancing corporate governance practices and even the issue of movable assets financing as a means of increasing the base of the pyramid. And we also have collaborations with FAA, which is the Finance Accrediting Agency of Malaysia, on the certified training professional. In terms of quality of our products, we have, you remember when the regulator, central bank, introduced the competency management framework for banks. In 2015, FITC took the framework based on the FITC's role in that framework and translated that framework into some areas of training to address those competency areas. And we ran those trainings in 2016 and 2017. We ran them as implants to the banks, based on which they can now, from the report, develop interventions that they needed to see that they can address those capacities in those areas. So this year we've taken a step further. In taking those courses in the competency, there are areas that are control functions, which are functions that are important to the sustainability and quality of a bank, and there are market-facing functions, which are about product development, relationships, and co. FITC took 15 of the courses in the areas of control functions and sent them, we submitted them for accreditation by the Financial Accrediting Agency in Malaysia. The Financial Accrediting Agency is an agency created by the Bank Negara of Malaysia, and it is a leading institution in certifying capacity initiatives in the financial services space. For us to get those courses certified will mean that the quality of capacity of people in those areas are going to be enhanced, and also the credentials from that course will carry both the logo of FITC and FAA. So for Nigerian banks that are operating in other locations in other countries, those credentials are going to be more acceptable than if it was FITC's alone.
Which organizations or institutions has FITC partnered with, and what is the nature of such partnerships? And it is very important for us to know what are the expected impact of these collaborations to the Nigerian and sub-regional financial space.
In 2011, we signed a partnership with the International Finance Corporation to build the capacity of our financial institutions on corporate governance in Nigeria. Within that period, we took the toolkit, that is the IFC Global Toolkit for board leadership and corporate governance, and translated it into a Nigerian version with our own local policies and principles. And we have been collaborating to deliver trainings, and we had 3 sessions of train the trainers, and we created a pool of about 47 local people that have been trained in that area. Then the IFC came back again in 2015 and signed a 3-year agreement with FITC to now extend that thing that we did in Nigeria to additional countries in West Africa, and we added 5 more countries in West Africa. Now, in terms of that intervention, it's likely, and the result has shown, about building capacity of corporate governance practice in the financial system, and increasingly FITC also extending beyond Nigeria to support financial institutions, especially banks in the West African sub-region. IFC has also come back to us last year for another collaboration on movable assets financing. We know that the Vice President signed into law the movable assets financing law to enable SMEs and micro businesses to borrow and fund their businesses, not necessarily using the normal type of collateral that we have had, but movable assets in terms of their stock, their warehouse, and all that. So IFC collaborated with FITC and the CBN in creating that movable assets financing training. We delivered one in May this year in Lagos. We had over 70-something participants, and we have another one happening in Kaduna first week of December, and thereafter FITC will be delivering these programs on its own. We know that the central bank has created the movable assets registry, and that is also running. So the hope is that that collaboration on movable assets will enhance the flow of credit, will make the ease of borrowing for SMEs better, and businesses can actually use their stock and their warehouse goods and their commodities as collateral for lending. The collaboration with FAA, Financial Accrediting Agency, is on the certified training practitioner. Is also an added layer on the competency that when you have, many of the financial institutions have their academies, FITC is happy to work with them, and we've actually been supporting some of them. But the certified training professional will help FITC in collaboration. FITC signed the exclusive right for Nigeria, will help those people that are in those training institutions and those organizations that do training to go through this program so that they can enhance their quality and train effectively. Finally, there is another one that we just signed. That one is not with a particular organization. It's with the Central Bank of Liberia. We have a proposition we made for Liberia for 3-year relationship on various things they needed based on our analysis of the Liberian financial system. And the Liberian government, via the Central Bank, has signed on FITC to support with some interventions, and in the first year those interventions will cover anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing, and also on corporate governance. It will entail some workshops, some seminars, some reports to prepare them for mutual evaluation on money laundering, and also to enhance the capacity of directors in banking and insurance, as well as the people in finance and audit in compliance of those things. So these are some of the collaborations. two with the international organizations, one with the stature of IFC. Our relationship with IFC is deepening over the years, and then with FAA on 2 levels for the CTP and the certification of our courses, and then with the Central Bank of Liberia, which we're very happy about because it shows that FITC is now supporting systems beyond Nigeria and especially the West African sub-region.
All right, thank you very much. In case you're joining us, this is Business Radio on Star FM 101.5, and of course we're talking with the Managing Director, CEO of the FITC, Dr. Lucy Newman. And of course, if you want to visit their corporate office, you can go to 164, 166 Murtala Mohammed Way, Butimeta, Lagos. Of course, their email, or of course, their personal email is lnewman@fitc-ng.com. Of course, the website of the institution is www.fitc-ng.com. Okay, madam, in this area of high-tech applications and solutions to enhance performance in corporate organizations, can you tell us how well equipped is FITC in human performance improvement technologies for yourself as an organization and of course for stakeholders?
It's very interesting that the last information you gave was the FITC website. Our website is not just a site for information. Our website is very interactive. It also shows many of our innovative products and services. For us as FITC, we're a lean organization. We're very small, but we can do so many things globally via partnerships, platforms, and smart ways of working. So therefore, because of that, technology is very key in our operations, in the way we develop our products, and also the way we store information, retrieve information, and apply information, and the way also we can store various studies and all that. So for us, I would look at it internally. For us as FITC, our enterprise resource portal is very effective and very efficient. We also have online performance management for staff. It's not paper-based. We transited since 2016, 2017. Now we're on the 3rd year of being online completely. We also use a closed user group for communication, in telecommunication for us, for staff, and also staff and their better half, which is their family and all that, because sometimes you're on a project, you can't rely on making a mobile phone call. It's expensive. We are not for profit, so we need, for us, efficiency is the key to being lean and cost effective. Our customer relationship management portal is also very, very interactive and very engaging. We keep stakeholders fully engaged and we follow them, and our communication with stakeholders is immense. Therefore, our customer database has to be very vibrant, refreshed all the time, and also so that it will be very accurate given how frequent we relate with them on social media and also by email and by online correspondence. In terms of external efficiency aspects of use of technology, if you go to our website, you will see that we have e-learning. E-learning, we have 2 courses available online that is accessible to anybody all over the world. It's received in multiple currencies for online payments, and we have 2 courses on the online portal. One of them is internal control for banks, and the other one is credit management and administration. Why those 2 courses? If you get your credit right as a bank and you're able to control the environment, you're likely to survive. So that's why we took those 2 key areas, and the price is very low, and the way we have made it is some of our classroom sessions actually require that one as a foundation. When you also go to the consulting link, you find out that there's e-recruitment. The world is getting very small. If you post a vacancy, you'll be surprised the locations you will get CVs from. Where the e-recruitment, we're able to resource persons for all our clients all over the world, and the first 2-3 levels of the recruitment process can be completed online. You will also see in the research space we have the virtual library. At the virtual library, somebody can go to the virtual library and you will see all the listings of what is available.
On the website?
Yes, okay. All the listings of what is available in the library. Okay. They are all catalogued, so you can see what is available and you can decide when you come to the library specifically what will you be asking for. We don't allow printing online because of copyright issues, but there's also another side of the virtual library. All our publications are listed there with the prices, so you can actually buy by indicating which one you want and pay, and then with your address delivery can be made without you having to come to FITC. We have a new application that is coming up. FITC, part of it is giving back to the system, given the investment that our members have. So there's an app that we're going to launch next year, God willing, and that app is going to give a free session for financial literacy to be accessible by all Nigerians, and it's absolutely free. We're talking to some of our partners who will give us some contents, but they will be free.
Okay, fantastic, very much. So, of course, when you think FITC, you think training, you think consulting, you think research. Okay, thank you very much. Moving ahead, well, leadership development has been a core issue really in Nigeria. Can you highlight the series and nature of leadership development program FITC has been involved in, most importantly to upscale human capacity development?
Leadership is at the core of what we do. For us as FITC, even what led to our creation is that in the late 70s, the federal government instituted a committee, the Pius Okubo Committee, to look at, to assess the financial system. As at that time, most of the players in the financial system were foreign institutions, and where you find Nigerians working in the financial system, they were playing peripheral front desk roles, while the core specialists were foreigners. Most of those roles being played by Nigerians in times past are the roles that are currently outsourced. So there was a need for the financial system to be the pivot of the economy and to drive the growth of the economy. And one of the conclusions was that a lot of things had to be done. Two recommendations that came out from the Pius Okubo Committee, which had the likes of late Gamaliel Onosode and co. and Oba Olashore, was that the tertiary institutions needed to start offering courses that will feed tomorrow's manpower in the financial system. That was when they introduced courses like banking and finance, actuarial sciences, and insurance in the universities and polytechnics. Then the second aspect was that there was a need for a management development institution to build the capacity of the Nigerians that were, as at that time, working in the financial institutions so that they can build the technical competencies. So the leadership development issue is the core and the essence of creation of FITC. Today,
the present government is propagating the ease of doing business, philosophy, and of course the practice in Nigeria. What value proposition can FITC offer in this regard, considering your area of proficiency and competency?
We're actually very excited. FITC has been preaching and advocating that for us as a jurisdiction, the treasure for our development is at the base of the pyramid. But over the years, we've majorly focused on the large corporates. So we're very happy about the ease of doing business, likely implication to SME growth and GDP contribution. And we're also very happy that when the IFC thought about the movable assets financing as a partner in the process, the federal government even demonstrated leadership in even passing that into law, thereby making it possible for us with the legal backing to embark on that. So for us, the movable assets financing will help the SMEs to raise finance and also give the breather to institutions in terms of collateralizing lending. For us also in the ease of doing that is our various programs that I said. We're certifying the credit management programs with the Financial Accrediting Agency, and we have fortified our basic, intermediate, and advanced credit programs, which are very much looking at the entire spectrum of the economy, the mega, the medium scale, and the small scale. Also for us, the study on the credit management of banks with the NDIC, as I said, which is a publication we're launching next year, will help us see how we've done credit past, how we have actually by our credit behaviors either helped the economy or stifled it. So this is how we hope that our little contribution will add to the journey of ease of doing business, and that Nigeria could unleash the treasures at the base of the pyramid for development, like in other jurisdictions that we can easily refer to.
The Nigerian educational system has been at the center of discussion in the national space. Tertiary institutions especially are in dear need of interventions. Is FITC playing any major role in the Nigerian educational system?
Well, while our mandate is to build capacity for the financial system, we had been inadvertently contributing to that. And why we can pride ourselves that we have truly paid our dues is, as I have said before, if we look at the way our institutions were many years back, and we look at the terrain that they're now playing in, and many of our financial institutions having balance sheets or statement of financial affairs equivalent to the GDPs of some countries in Africa and some parts of the developing world. So what FITC has been doing since is in capacity, that's using education, behavior, and everything to build the financial system. But be that as it may, we have not played an active role in the Ministry of Education space per se. However, we have helped our financial institutions to support them in running essay competitions for students of tertiary institutions, via which they get prizes and scholarships awarded. Our big aha that came for us was this year when Yaba College of Technology marked 70th anniversary. Yaba College of Technology is the first tertiary institution in this country, and it was mirroring exactly the state of education in the country. We helped them to plan for their the Old Students Association executive. We planned them, helped them to plan their conference marking the 70th anniversary. That project helped us to sit through and see the need to really pay attention to the tertiary institution.
2019 is around the corner. What should FITC stakeholders look out for in 2018 and of course potentially 2019?
Thank you. When you said 2019, I was like, oops, which one are you talking about? I think 2018 is closer than 2019. And when one speaks about 2019, everybody just goes to think about politics.
The election.
FITC is not a political institution, so we have nothing to do with 2019. We're just citizens of the country. But for us, for stakeholders of FITC, looking out to 2018 and 2019, first of all, is that FITC is extremely appreciative to all our stakeholders for all the support they've shown to us. All that I've shared this morning, we wouldn't have achieved it without patronage, without support, and without the advocacy of our stakeholders. Even through the period of the recession, many of our stakeholders had been very supportive, and we've always been there to discuss and negotiate and give them something that is still worth their investments. So for us, as 2018 is coming by the corner, we are introducing 15 courses, as I've said, and those courses are in the competency management framework in the control functions, and those courses will be certified by FAA. So we would be contributing to building capacity of banks in terms of the control functions and their sustainability by those 15 certified courses. We've put in 10 already for the process, and we'll be putting in the last 5 in the first quarter of 2018, God willing. Our training calendar, which is also available on our website and is very accessible, our stakeholders and our listeners will hear that they'll be able to visit the website and they will see that we've introduced 7 courses. Periodically, FITC checks its basket of courses to see based on feedback and to rejig the pack. So we have added 7 new courses. Big one is IFRS 9, which is what everybody is having issues with. And then ICAP, then there's trade-based money laundering. Sometimes money laundering is seen more in terms of financial relationship. Trade-based don't see that. So we have that program that we're introducing, and we also have the CTP, as I said, with FAA. For the first time also, because of our growing visibility outside, you will see in our training calendar some venues will be in Kenya, Nairobi. And also we are getting a lot of participation from West African countries and East African countries. So being at an FITC program, you might be sitting next to somebody from Tanzania, Ghana, Gambia, Senegal. We find out that having these international participants has challenged us in terms of our logistics in making sure that their experience in Nigeria is good and they don't have issues and they go back with a good story. And then also that our participants who participate with them are able to walk away with not just experiences about the Nigerian space, but also about other countries. And also our campus in Lekki, we have land that is 6.4 hectares. Over the past few years, we got the layout approval, we got the fencing approval, we fenced it round, and now we would be doing the landscaping, which will make it very visible along the Lekki axis after Crown Estate and before Farah Park. For us also, FITC has a creche. Many people don't know that. And actually, people ask if I'm the one that started the creche. I said, no, I actually met it, and it was my predecessor, who is a man, that started the creche, was Oladumeji. But we have scaled up that creche and raised it to higher levels, such that nursing mothers who live outside Lagos and they are nominated for a program, there's no need to worry about your baby. You can come down to Lagos while you are in class, drop your baby at the creche. At the end of the class, pick your baby, and during the period of the training, you can breastfeed your baby and go to class during break time. For us as staff also, our female staff have access to the creche for their children up to 2 years of age, and even our male colleagues who have little babies and don't have places to take their children. I have 1 or 2 of my colleagues that used to come to work with their children, and they drop them in the creche, and they are men. So for us as FITC, the family is important, work-life balance is important, and the family is the bedrock of the society.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lucy Newman of the FITC. Maybe just a line, a word for stakeholders, for players in the corporate world in Nigeria. Just a word.
For Nigerian businesses, it's a very interesting time in the history of this country, and many great nations have had those sessions, but it depends on what we use the season for. Are we using the season for the first time? Let's be truthful to ourselves. And before we try to fix other people, we'll look inwards and fix ourselves. And the collection of respective entities fixing themselves and being truthful will make up the pack. It doesn't pay to be deceptive. It doesn't pay to cheat. The truth is sustainable over time. The truth brings success ultimately. And everybody should have an equal chance to excel and be the best that they can be. And corporate organizations play a major role in that in terms of their corporate social responsibilities, integrity, ethics, and reporting.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Lucy Newman. So when you think FITC, you think training, think consulting, think research. And of course, when you think Business Radio on Star FM 101.5. Thanks for listening. Thank you, madam, for coming on the program.